Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 460 and Doubleshot number, I think it's 376. One Marvel trade, one IDW trade. First up, it's this big book, Incredible Hulk Epic Collection, Volume 19, Ghost of the Past. The thing with these Epic Collections, is that they release, the numbers are released randomly, and they collect any storyline. This book collects Incredible Hulk number 397 to 406, annuals 1892 plus the stories, plus material from Namor the Submariner A number 2, Silver Surfer A number 5, Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme A number 2, and Marvel Holiday Special number 2. Now, this book starts off with the four-parter Return of the Defenders, which I have referenced that in the episode of my comic book history. I don't remember what episode it was, but you have to look up a comic book history when I talk about the Defenders. This one, the first part is entirely done by Peter David, while the other part's done by Ron Martz. He's the other writer listed here. Yep. Peter David and Ron Martz. They also have Roy Thomas doing some stories, along with James Robinson, Tom Everett, Mike Kadavich, Evan Silvick, and a guy who I'm Facebook friends. I was a little surprised to see him as a writer in here. Ron Fortune. Yes, I'm actually Facebook friends with him. With artwork by Ken McGuire, famously from the JLI series, James Fry, Tom Morgan, MC Wyman, Dale Cohen, Jan Duursma, Chris Bacho, Gary Frank, Travis Christ, Gary Baker, Carl Asler, John Phillips, Dan Lewis, Kirk Javin, Paul Politer, and John Herbert. Yeah, Ron Martz just does the mainly just does the Return of the Defenders. He does the parts 2 through 4, while Peter David does the opening part. These other writers just do most of the writers just do either the holiday special, which is reprinting, which is Doc Samson's story, and of course the other annual. This actually covered to one of the stories in here. Fun fact about the issue number 402. First comic book I've ever read. It was I actually first read it back in 1999, roughly about 6 years after it originally came out. Yeah, I actually found the comic in my cousin's closet, and this was roughly 18 years ago. So basically 402 in here. A lot of the other issues in here, basically this is like second time I read them. This issue I've actually read about 4 times now, and the whole issue is just the Hulk versus the Juggernaut out of his armor. He called himself Earl. Yeah, it's a fun little issue, and I believe Gary Frank does the artwork for that issue. Let me look it up here. Let's see. 402's artwork is done by, I know Peter David does the writing for this issue. Let's see. The artwork is done by, I think it's John Duursma. Yeah, this is the guy who does this issue. And like I said, I read this issue like 18 years ago. Yeah, I knew I recognized it as soon as I saw the cover. Yep, I read this issue 18 years ago. Yeah, that's when I first time I read it. A lot of the other issues I've read like in the last few years. But the Ghost of the Past story, the first 4 issues in this particular trade basically just deal with regular issues of the series, where it deals with the return of Marla Chandler, who apparently had somehow died and now she's back. Return Defenders basically dealt with the whole thing of Namor's body being taken over by a sorcerer. Of course, also proving a prophecy from the Defenders series proved to be false. And when they have Silver Surfer show up in here, he shows up at the end. I think it was the first part is the Incredible Hulk annual. That's the first part. The second part is the second annual for Namor the Submariner, and that ends with the return of the Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is part 3, and part 4 is Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme in number 2. Fun fact, there is no Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme in number 1 because this numbering is a continuation of numbering from Doctor Strange Volume 2. The storyline is called Hot Spell. Yeah, despite the fact, yes, it's basically Return of the Defenders, it's called Hot Spell. That's literally what the story is called. And Kevin McGuire does all 4 parts. Fun fact, one of the inkers for this particular, all the issues in here, is done by, says James Palmiani. Basically, it's Jimmy Palmiani back in 1982. Because from what I've heard about him, he started as inker, now he's a writer. Currently does Harley Quinn. Yeah. all the issues in here are really good because it's Peter David at its finest. So this was actually the first Peter David trade actually collected in some time. Yeah, this was the first one collected since Hulk Visionaries Volume 8. Yeah, but still, Marvel hasn't finished collecting Peter David's run. They did collect his issues that he did for the second volume of Hulk, the one that lasted from like 1989 to about, I think it was like 2007. Yeah, they did collect all the issues he did for that series, but as for this particular one, I'm trying to look it up here. Basically, I had to close my internet because of some problem with my computer. Let's see here if I can get to it. We're finding Wikipedia comes up, basically. That book basically went to a certain point. It actually ended about 20 issues prior to this. Yeah, but trying to look it up to see exactly when was the time that the I have to look it up here. The last known official book took Peter David's run for Incredible Hulk, and his run was quite long. His run lasted almost as long as, let's say, Mark Greenwald's run from Captain America. Yeah, it's about the same length. There you are. It's taking a little while, but I'm finding it. Sorry it's taking a little while, but my internet's kind of slow at the moment. Okay. Here we go. Okay, the Visionaries' last one was released prior to this book coming out. This book was released just 2 years ago, and the last book prior to this, the collect issues from Peter David's run, was released back in 2011. And that book went up to issue uh, 96, the previous issue. Yep. But still, as far as I know, his run is not entirely been collected yet. It's slowly being collected, yes, but it's not there yet. But the issues here are great. Peter David was a great writer for the series. He was in the series. The first issue he did was issue 338, I believe it was. Let me look it up here. Excuse me. No, it was actually, it's not collected in the trade. It was actually 328, but his first regular issue was number 331, and he's saying the book is about issue 444. So he was in this book for quite some time. So yeah, like Mark Greenwald, long-time Incredible Hulk, but he's one of the most definitive writers for this particular series. Because these issues are great, I'm giving this a 9.5 out of 10. Amazing. Alright, next up is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles New Anime Adventures. This collects the first 4 issues of this 24-issue comic book published by IDW. The only reason I'm reviewing it now, because the series is ending. Yep, the series, this comic book is sort of a tie-in to. It's actually ending. The final episodes are airing next month. Yep, the final episodes are airing next month, and it's basically going to be an hour. It's going to be an hour-long episode, basically dealing with the crossover with the 1987 Turtles, which is going to be great. I'm looking forward to watching it. This just collects just stories. Now, the stories in here are written by a few different writers. Kevin Barney. Kevin, I think he just does pretty much most of the stories. Those are the first couple issues. Scott and David Tippin, who does issue 3. Eric Burnham, who's known for writing Ghostbusters, who does issue 4. Scott and David Tippin, they're known for doing Star Trek books. They did the Star Trek Next Generation, Doctor Who Simulation 2, the Star Trek Planet of the Apes Primal Directive, and Curse Courtney, the Star Trek Next Generation Mirror Broken, which is an awesome series, and it's a little over halfway through right now. It's a really good series. I highly recommend it. Yeah, these are just some random stories, just turtles basically fighting crime. Unlike in the series where basically everybody knows that Donatello has a thing for April, it's here, but it's not like over the top like it's very much downplayed. Now, in these issues, is there any characters that know for being part of Turtles or introduced in these issues that are not in the series? No. It's just basically Turtles doing random things and saving people, stuff like that. This is relatively an old trade. I was lucky to get this thing. This trade was released roughly 3 years ago, and this thing is literally falling apart. Look at this. Yeah, this thing is literally falling apart. Yeah, look at this. Wow, look at that. Pages are falling out like crazy. Yeah, this trade is not in good condition. But the artwork is still in good condition, but the trade itself is not in good condition for a 3-year-old trade. Fun stories. Turtles saving people or some crazy stuff. Shredder shows up here for like 1 issue. But the writing here is pretty good. I was surprised to see that Eric Byrne write a Turtles book, even though he's no associated with Ghostbusters. But it's not the first time. It's not the only time he writes the Turtles. He also wrote the Turtles as part of that very good crossover with the Ghostbusters. The TMNT also has Ghostbusters crossover, which I have heard they're doing a sequel to that one. I don't know if Byrne's going to do that one or not. I don't know. I hope he does. But this is good. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. The stories in here are really fun. Okay? So, stay there, don't move. So, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode 461 and Doubleshot number 377, which I'm going to go over volumes 2 and 3 of that particular trade series, which I think covers issues 5 through 12. Okay? But until then, I will see you there. Bye.